Hello guys, welcome to a new video where I will show how to configure a Spring Boot application to be connected to a MongoDB database. I will show how to configure the entities and the repositories. If you're ready, I will just ask you to subscribe to my channel and let's go. Instead of using a relational database with my Spring Boot application like Postgres or MySQL, I will use MongoDB. MongoDB is a noSQL database, a database which is document-oriented. Instead of having my data structured in rows and columns, I have JSON documents. This makes my schema very flexible, as each document can have a different structure. The objective is that instead of having to create multiple joins to obtain my desired output, I can have the needed information in a single document. With this kind of structure, I read operations faster, as I don't have to query many tables to obtain the necessary information to be displayed. Nevertheless, the write operations can be slower, as the nested documents will be duplicated in several documents. So, to update a single field of this nested document, I need to edit multiple documents. In this case, I can use multiple databases, one for write operations and one for read operations. This is called the CQRS pattern, Common Query Responsibility Segregation. Have a relational database, such as Postgres, for the write operations, and a NoSQL database as MongoDB for the read operations, and have a mechanism to make updates from one database to the other. I won't enter into the details of this mechanism, as it's out of the scope of this video. For the current video, I will use MongoDB as the only database of my application. I will start a Docker container with Mongo inside to perform my tests. I need the bind IP all option to tell the Mongo server to accept requests from my host. Otherwise, only internal requests are allowed. Now I will connect to my Mongo server with the admin user I've indicated to create a regular user. A regular user to be used from my Spring Boot application. Here it is. I've correctly logged into Mongo with my regular user. Let's start adding the needed Maven dependencies. I will need the Mongo driver to talk with the database and the Spring Data connector to allow me to use the repositories. Let's now configure my Spring Boot application to be connected to the Mongo database. I will create a bean that extends an abstract configuration of a Mongo client. This abstract class already contains some default configuration. I will extend it to use some custom configuration, such as the database name and the credentials. I will need to adapt some of my endpoints and DTOs, as the IDs used in Mongo are strings and not numbers. I need to edit some of my endpoints and DTOs to accept the IDs as strings and not as longs. I will now create some objects, some entities, which will reflect the database schema. I will create the user entity to map into a user's collection. It will contain the fields first name, last name, login, password, created date, and a list of friends. Those friends are also users located in the same collection. I will also create the message entity. It will contain the fields content, created date, and user. The user field can't be a link to the user's collection, as Mongo doesn't accept links or foreign keys. Instead, the user's field is just a sample of the user object, which is present in the user's collection. It will just contain the ID, first name, and last name. With the document annotation, I indicate that my entity will be located in the app messages collection. Otherwise, it will save them in a collection named Mongo Messages as the class name. I prefer to maintain the lowercase in the Mongo collection's name. Let's now create the Spring Data repository to query, save, and update the entities into MongoDB. I need the interface to extend page and sorting to have some queries and pagination available in the repository by default. I also want to search by users login. With the repositories, I can build a query just by naming the method with the fields I want to filter. And finally, I want to perform a custom or complicated query. I have the query annotation and write it inside my query. In this case, I filtered by a list of IDs with the in keyword, and I've done this filter in a nested field. Finally, I've added the pagination to the query, just with the additional parameter. Spring Data will handle the pagination for me, just with this additional parameter. Let's see some examples using those repositories. As this method returns me an optional, I can change the or else thrown method to throw an exception or return the result. To save a new user, I just call the save method of the repository. And to update an existing user, as before, I just need to call the save method. To use the pagination, I have the builder page request off, with the index of the page and the page size I want. Let's make a quick test of all of this. I will start my application, create a new user, and log in the application. And now let's check the Mongo status. Here is my created user. Okay, let's make a quick recap. I've added two dependencies, the Mongo driver and Spring Data Mongo. I've extended an abstracted configuration of the Mongo client to indicate the database name and the credentials to connect to the database. I have to take into account that the IDs with Mongo are strings and no more longs. I've created the entities to reflect the schema in Mongo, and I've created the Spring Data repositories with my needed queries. I've used some built-in queries and some custom queries. That's all for this video. If you want more videos about Mongo, just leave a comment. Some more advanced integrations with Spring, some more advanced queries or aggregations of Mongo, or whatever you want. If you liked the video, leave a thumbs up and see you in the next video. Bye!